This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
So my answer to going to college was join the Army. 1992, my life changed forever. PCS to Germany with my two boys, and really try to take advantage of the opportunity to travel, learn another language, the culture. It was to me the dream coming true, that everything that I'd been going through was worth it, because I was seeing another part of the world that I wouldn't have had the opportunity if I hadn't been in the military. Planned on getting out in 2000. That was really kind of a part of a joy in my life, and getting married for the second time. And I looked forward to the future. Ended up kind of becoming disillusioned, and that was the whole housing bubble thing, where the mortgage jumped from bank to bank to bank. My kids were counting on me to take care of them, to ask for that kind of help. I've done to help other women is make sure that they know what their resources are. It's for a long time I didn't understand that my service in the military counted as a woman veteran, but nobody told me, hey Eva, you're a veteran too, until I had that light bulb moment and said, my service counted too. And I can tell you it's been a long road to learn how to dream again. The community was the solution, be it churches, be it nonprofits, be it veteran service organizations, or just people like myself. We are the resources. We are the solution to help keeping women off of the street, our women veterans housed and having the resources they need and not living in a car. Of the work that grows us as leaders for our second service after the military to serve other people in our communities.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today is Saturday, May 3rd, the year of our Lord 2025. My name is Eva Fulton. I am the host of the From Pain to Purpose radio show. And as you can see, that's the trailer for my documentary, From Pain to Purpose, Her Second Service Story. I have not put it out publicly yet. The trailer is out there, but I've still been putting it through film festivals, and thus the duplicate name. And it's also in some ways really kind of a theme set for what I'm doing with working on my PhD in public administration. And the way it's looking, my topic will be the unfulfilled needs of female combat veterans. And that's really from a holistic perspective of what our needs are since we've been serving in combat service and combat roles, really for all of the women who are still, around that have served in the military. So, anyways, I always look for some kind of words of inspiration from the trailer, because I think that's really has been an impactful thing that has gotten me where I'm at, and telling my pain to purpose story. But I think it's also a platform that can help other people share their story. And this year, I'm super excited to have the guy who helped me get my start on radio by being a guest on his radio show. So let me, I'll do an introduction for him. So this is, my people garden is probably vast, right? But this person I met at work, and through our Veterans Affinity Group at the federal workforce side of things, we both had been working at HUD. I still work for HUD, and you find who your people are at work, even in the federal agency side of things. And it's nice knowing who your people are, because you can have some conversations. Just know, hey, I'm having a good day, I'm having a bad day. But you don't really even have to explain anything. You just know who you can smile with, and we can be silly with up there on the stage for Veterans Day, and know who your people are that are going to help with having a Veterans Day program, and handing out the programs even, and just being present and cheering on. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jose Flores.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
¿Qué pasa, mi gente? What's up, Eva? Yay, yay! Woo! Thank you for the intro. Oh, my goodness. It is so good to be back in the house, mi casa, mi gente. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah. It's been too long, man.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, it's crazy, because healing doesn't come like with a magic, but it should come with coffee and a freaking a support group, because this has been but I'm glad to be here, of all people, with you, Eva. You've been GR8, that means great, as my grandkids be saying. But it's an honor to be here, and have been here on your show is a great segue to me to get back into my groove, man. So thank you so much. Gracias.
Yeah, de nada. Yeah. I say that, I try to make sure I met, a couple weeks ago when I came back from Spain, and I saw Magda downstairs, and I was throwing her some words in Spanish. She was like, "Oh, let me give you a hug." She was so impressed with my pronunciation. I was like, I'm not a gringa, from Texas. You think I didn't learn how to speak some Spanish in Texas?
I know. But no, it's like when I tell people, hey, spell socks, to an American, eso sí que es. Like a native. See, less than 30 seconds, I show you how to speak Spanish, right? So eso sí que es. I know it's these little things. I watch Nick at Night a lot. So yeah.
Okay.
And I'm glad to be here.
Oh man, it's been too long.
Yes.
I remember that I was a guest on your show. I hadn't. Yes. I mean, I've done a couple of CBS radio shows before as a guest with my book, but not anything for any kind of sustained time. But and just chit chatting back and forth. You had asked me on, and I. Several shows, and I've always enjoyed the banter we have back and forth.
Yeah. It was always great. You guys it was stupendous, because we talked earlier, I am going to do El Camino de Santiago, or the longer one, once I'm done with my stuff here. But yeah, I
think you need to do it from beginning to end, and I think you're going to be able to unpack a lot.
Yeah. And I got a lot, girl. I got a lot to unpack.
We all have a lot. I just haven't had the time. Yeah. You're going to have the time, dude.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. No, it's been good, but I'm glad to be back on, and I know that this is what I need. I know that. So, but if I had to be on, it's with you. So this is it.
Oh, thanks. Well, I knew for you, just even like getting back on your Peloton and posting your videos and pictures, because you're an inspiration to a lot of people, right? And all of this was about resilience. That's why I named the show this. That
Yeah.
this shows the resilience you have, but a lot. I'm sure that people don't even know. I mean, obviously, you and I know
Yeah.
why you took a vacation from radio
Yes.
for a while.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
any of that?
absolutely. There I was. No, that's another story. That's something no. Toward the end of the year in December, me and my wife split up. We separated, and I was, of course, blindsided. It was hard on me, and I knew that what was coming. It just like cold water to the face, and I was in a different place, and I knew what was coming. Especially when you have PTSD, it's like when you get on when you see a car accident about to happen, and all I can do is brace. Let me put on, make sure my seatbelt is on. It's gonna happen no matter what you do. So when that happened to me, and I was lost. I was disorientated. I got depressed. The same things that we all go through in life, So yeah, that's what happened. She left. I was left here, and so the house I live in is 155 years old. I thought I was hearing ghosts. I was in my house by myself, but it was actually me. But we won't get into that. But it was just hard to grasp that. So one of the first thing I did was to reach out to the VA, the Veterans Affairs. I said I need it. Now we know the government works, so I knew that was going to be a minute. But while I was going through that journey, which was really dark, I was helping a veteran out, one of my colleagues' husband, and he was really big into church. He was church, and not saying that I wasn't into church, but when I was at my deepest, my lowest point, when I was dealing with this divorce, and I was trying to reconcile. He asked me the question. He said, "Do you believe that Jesus Christ died and rose 3 days later?" And I said yes. And at that moment, I just felt something come off me. It just, I was like, wow, I didn't expect it. I didn't know what to expect. It was like, and ever since then, I've been working. And I want to send a shout out to my girl in New York out there. You know who you are. She's been helping me through a lot, and a couple of people at a HUD, and I think the biggest thing since I've been going through this is having the support of people like you and my love. And I never knew, I'm so used to, let me back up. One of the things we learned in the military is selfless service.
Right.
And you're so used to giving, and you don't expect anything back. And it was like, I felt, it felt really weird for me that people were reaching out to me. I'm saying, I'm okay. In fact, many people didn't know until I posted that video that I posted on Facebook about what I was going through. But
when you went to your son's wedding in Hawaii.
Hawaii, oh my God, that was stupendous. How you doing? Okay. Oh my God. Okay, Jose, back on. All right, thank you. But no, and I'll talk about that. I was lost out there. But I mean, so going through this journey has been so challenging, and we all go through those stages of grief, right?
Right,
and,
right.
Man, it was hard. It was hard for me, and and I will tell you some of the things that I felt like I failed as a man. So this is the mortal self. And I said, man, as a man, I failed. I can't believe it. What could I have done? And you start replaying this thing that you'll never get an answer to sometimes,
Right,
and
right.
So that's
because sometimes you don't want the answers. It's better not to ask the question you don't want the answers to.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. And you know, in between that, we were talking, and she had told me some of the things that I need to work on, and I said, yeah, okay, I see that. You know,
Yeah,
and
but you know what? I don't know that I necessarily always own something that, because
Mhm.
that's just their perspective. That doesn't mean with somebody else or whatever that you might not have that issue.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just their particular perspective, because sometimes people deflect back
Hmm.
the very thing that they're actually doing themselves.
Yeah.
So they want to point the blame at you as
Mhm.
if you're the only one that's done something that needs to be fixing, when they can't look in their own mirror and say, you know, maybe
Yeah.
I'm 50% of the problem or 75%
Yeah.
of the problem, but you were just merely reacting to
Yeah.
whatever she could have been doing. I'm just saying there's
No.
always two sides of the story, but
Right.
don't always own that everything is just your fault because she said it.
Right. And you're right. Sometimes you can't control somebody else's choices. I mean, it's you know, and that was like a hard pill to swallow, like Motrin size, like they it was gave us
Yeah.
in the army, you know. And but I do recognize that there are things I need to work on, you know. And I'm working on them hard. And you know, like you said earlier, sometimes it's hard to look deep inside you. You don't want to look in there, you know,
What's
because
in
it's
that drawer?
like what? You know, it's
Well,
like
because it, you know, in my people gardening side of things, when you start digging the rocks, you know, if you've cleaned all of the worldly stuff
yeah,
away, right? And you start trying to till the soil because you're ready to start, you know, planting your garden, you
mhm,
start discovering, yeah, there's some big rocks there. Well, nothing's going to grow where those big rocks are, but when you
right,
start you know, uncovering these rocks, sometimes they're deep, and you've got to just move them out of the way and not let them occupy space, because that's really what they're doing, is occupying space.
yeah. No, no, you're absolutely correct. And there was a lot of rocks I had to move, you know, a lot, and I'm still moving them. And it's
We
almost like,
always we
yeah,
always will, though.
oh yeah, you're right. We always do, you know. Um,
The farmer does every time they till, right?
mhm,
This has been the spring farming season. And you can see the farmers, they run those, you know, machines, and they're tilling up the
yeah,
soil. But those rocks are always coming up to the top, even out there. And they've been farming those fields for how many hundreds of years,
yeah, yeah,
right? And it's still, they still come to the top. But
mm,
that's okay.
yeah, yeah. I guess as long as we're moving forward, you know, because there was a point where I just wanted to stop, you know, and just, you know, this is the PTSD, and we'll talk about it, you know, in a little bit more how and you just want to stop, like, you know, what good am I? These are just milliseconds. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. I keep it moving. I know, but you know, I keep it moving. It's like, you know, and that's when we talk about 22, you know, but with me, it was like, no, and it was something I blinked and I kept it going. I said, no, I'm staying here. I ain't going nowhere, you know.
You got a purpose. You got a
Yeah.
purpose.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, when we come back, we will go ahead and touch on those subjects,
Yes.
and, you know, some of the other changes that we know have been happening out
Yes.
there in the
Yes.
workland.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
I know we both like the Sacred Flowers
Yes.
video,
Yeah.
so I'm going to go ahead and play that, okay? And we'll be back after this.
is crying for daughters, sacred flowers, sacred mother. Earth is crying for daughters. Where have you gone? Who took them from us? Who stole them from us? Sacred flowers. Sacred flowers, sacred mother, earth is crying for daughters. Sacred flowers, sacred mother, earth is crying for daughters. Blooming life on the res, bringing light to our lives. You are missing your mist, sacred flowers.
I know that's always so
Wow.
powerful, isn't it?
It is, especially with the hand, the red.
Yeah. So I'm Eva Fulton, the host of MBR. Sorry, MBR. Get the whole script in my head. I'm Eva Fulton, the host of the From Pain to Purpose radio show here on MBR, where we give veterans a voice. And I'm super thrilled that Jose Flores, who has been the host of the Motivated Mindset, is making his re-debut with me today.
Hey, Gabe, what's up? What's up? How you doing? Okay.
So we've been co-workers at HUD, and I'm still hanging on. I haven't taken the drip or the drip 2 or put in the Vera. Yeah, I have family members counting on me, so I'm just not ready to take that financial plunge yet. I'm still working on, my side gigs to sustain me. Whenever I can retire, I'm still too young to retire. So
I know. Yeah, I got you. You must use oil of Olay, huh?
no, actually I did something different. I put on some, what's the other? It's not I put castor oil on my face last time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, did you know that that's a thing?
No. Does
You
it do
put
wrinkles
castor
too?
oil?
Is it good for wrinkles?
Yes,
Well,
yes,
what's up
it's
now?
supposed to moisturize and give you that youthful look. So
Wait, does it help you grow hair?
I don't know. It might. I'll have to do some research for you on that one.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I got you.
So Jose, we just have, I guess, a certain, I want to say kinship. I don't know what else to say. We just have we just always hit it off very well, that we could laugh, and it's not ever about putting a mask on. But it's really just, we've always had just great conversations, and we reach out to each other occasionally. And, I was one of those people in your people garden that was happy to check in and take the call and just be able to, you knew that you had somebody that cared. You've got obviously a great number of people that care. But I think that's the whole point of growing your people garden too, right? Who are the ones that you can count on, even when people decide to leave out of your people garden. And, those are their choices. They're not necessarily our choices. But then it becomes our choice on how we respond to those events. But you've also had some other things happening here recently that have changed your life, and another kind of grieving. So do you want to talk about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. And just to go, and Eva, you were one of the first people I called when I went through this, and thank you. I mean, you're a lifesaver, but that's one thing about the military: blood does not define family.
Right.
People
Right.
always get caught up in that. So you were one of so for that I thank you. And sometime I reached out, you answered, we talked, and it was just
Yeah.
great. You talked me off the ledge. So it was good. I always loved that. But yeah, when just to go with the PTSD where we left off, it hits you differently. It's like everybody gets affected by it, and
Right.
sometimes being inside your head, it's like being in a haunted house for me, But I've worked through it. I think I had said I reached out to the Veterans Affair.
Yeah.
They gave me a temporary psychiatrist so I can talk through,
Mhm.
and they gave me community, so that means in my community I'll be able to see a mental wellness person. So
Right.
I'm waiting on that. So that's a good thing. But one of the things that I've started back on was like when she mentioned the Peloton, back to hitting something, a routine,
Right.
and back to the gym. Oh, and you know how important that is.
I kept pushing you. All right. But you had other people. Hey, man, I remember you were telling me on a
Yeah.
phone call one time you had one of your guys that you checked on was,
Oh,
hey,
yes.
where's your videos? They
Yes.
were checking on you because they missed your videos. So what was,
Yeah.
that's important for people to recognize those signs that sometimes we don't
Yeah.
always reach out, but
Mhm.
we leave those breadcrumbs when something is happening. And that's when we in the people garden can say, can take action and check on you too.
Yes, he was my one of my section chiefs in Germany, and he reached out to me, and it was just like, "Hey, I haven't heard from you." So then I had to call him back because
Yeah.
every weekend I reach out to like 10 to 15 veterans, what we call buddy checks. We're used to buddy
Yeah.
checks. Some are 1 minute long, some are 1 hour long. It's just
Right.
listening, And then that all had came to I ceased all that, but more important, the videos, the thing I put on my Facebook, and he wasn't the only one. There were a couple of people, and I got so emotional because I wasn't expecting that. It was like, wow, it's like,
They missed you. It was a sign to let you know that people missed you.
yes,
And that's gives you
man,
that sign of resilience that, if you're not doing that, people are going to miss you.
yes. And what you just said, all that helped me start loving myself again.
Yeah.
Because it was, and once people were giving me love that I'm just used to giving, just like and then
To receive it. You were suddenly receiving it.
yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. I said, this is I mean, and I learned to give myself grace.
Yep.
And because we're so hard on sometimes on our own selves,
That's right.
And once I was able to open my heart, to my faith now and to people, because it took me a long time even to accept thank you. Oh my God. When somebody compliments you, and it was hard, now I'm learning to accept it. And that's helped me to heal.
Do you think our military culture kind
Yes.
of teaches that don't say thank you? Oh, I'm just doing my job. No.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a point of doing your job, but then there's the point of receiving thank you. Because
Yeah.
somebody that took energy for somebody to say thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And absolutely. But you're right. Just when I was in the Army as an NCO, that was my job. We're behind the curtains. We do it. Or even as an officer, the staff officers that's just busting their butt. It's like, this is what we do,
Right.
And it took a while. Even now as a civilian, it's still in me. It's still in me, and that was part of the struggle I was having when I was going through this thing as a Army guys, what do we say? Embrace the suck. Right.
Yeah, but even if you're embracing the suck,
Yeah.
you still gotta put something back in for the next time.
Yes. No. So when I started getting all these people that were coming back to me, giving me some love, giving me support, it motivated me to get back on. And let me tell you, Eva, that first week was terrible getting to the gym. It was like I felt like I was 100 years old. I got to get up at what time to do that, And I woke, and the first time I got on my Peloton, I went, great.
You weren't cranking out.
I was not on this song.
You weren't cranking it out for an hour, were you?
No, I was not. But once I started on my routine, like we talked about, getting back to a routine, finding that structure, it became easier. And then now let's throw on the drip too, right?
Yeah. So let's catch people up. What is the drip? I mentioned the drip. We need.
I think you could say. Tell them. I think it's just. Bottom line
so it's the delayed
retirement.
Yeah, it's the delayed retirement from the federal workforce. Yeah. So, we've been federal employees. He's not anymore. I still am. But we're federal employees, or I'm a federal employee anyways. We both work for the same department. So that's how we met. Jose worked in EEO office and I work in a program office, but I've been involved with the Veterans Affinity Group and now serve as the vice chair. But you meet a lot of great people. So this is part of the downsizing of the federal workforce. And I'll be honest and say, thank you, Jose, for taking one for the team and retiring, because that that's leaving an option for somebody else that they can still stay employed, and I think that's part of it, right? Is that's some people are ready for the change, or they're in a better position for the change. I still have family members counting on me financially, so taking the drip is not an option. So I'm praying, literally praying that I'm protected from the drip, and everything will be good there. But how has this changed? Because it's not just one whammy; it's a double whammy.
It's a double whammy. Making a decision while you're in a decision that you can't make because you still don't understand what's going on. So with all that, I had to take a week off work. So my job at HUD was the alternative dispute resolution coordinator, dealing with people's problems.
Right. In the middle of your own storm.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? And I remember telling my leader, say, hey, I need to take a pause for the cause. I need to step away because I cannot be as efficient to do this job. And he did. They were so supportive. So once I was able to do that, and I missed the first drip one, but I said, well, I'm gonna retire. And when I had put in for it, that's when they came out with drip 2, and I said, put me on it. It was a hard decision to make, but it was my health that was being affected, and among other things, going through this divorce too. So it was challenging, but now I'm back in the routine. I'm here. I'm digging it. I got so much love out there. I've met so many beautiful people. How you doing? Okay. And it's just been, happy, joy. Granted, there are moments where I feel it, and then like a wave. I think I told you earlier, my anniversary came up on the Facebook, and I just sat there. Normally I would just swipe it, but what I did was I sat there, and for the moment I just let it go through me. I had to feel it. So once that happened, I was able to go on and kept it going. So I
would think that actually shows a big growth area, to have just not be angry and swipe, or just be flippant and swipe, or just that's a huge sign of some emotional intelligence, just being able to sit in peace in that, right? I mean, I don't know if you heard part of Red's show a while ago
Yes.
with
Yeah.
him, right? And finding peace. I mean, and it sounds like that's where you're finding some peace in going through both of these
Mhm.
situations, because in some ways neither was really in your control. And
Right.
that's probably the hardest part is Jose's not at the wheel. You were a passenger that was like, time to get off.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But not just once, but twice, you
yes,
know.
twice.
And so that's why I named the show Resilience,
Yeah.
because that's where you're finding your resilience, where are your push points
Mhm.
that you even are, experiencing on the Peloton,
Oh yeah.
that, getting back on is one thing, but then it's about the resilience and coming back and being consistent.
Yes. Yes. And I'm taking care of the body, and then now spiritually,
Mind, body, yeah,
mind, body, and spirit. I mean, wow. And on the spirit side, just learning to walk the walk and give it to Him, the God who I serve now. And I'm learning
right.
that every day. I got the Bible here, and I'm still
Yep,
learning. And I found the church. I found a church that I'll be going to. So I got something to look forward to. It ain't just, and I
right.
think that's when you talked about hope. We all need hope. We all need
We
faith.
all
We
need
all
hope.
need
Yeah.
something. Yeah. So that's been such a good thing. And for me, humor is probably the biggest thing for me. Humor is what keeps me going. Because if you can't laugh at yourself, and I do all the time, then it doesn't help you if you don't have that kind of humor, be able to take things to help you,
Right.
in a way. So yeah, I try to do that, So I mean, I said I've been through war, I've been through heartache, and I survived New York City traffic. Excuse me. How you doing? I'm like, that's why I don't drive.
Yeah.
I take Amtrak. You know what I'm saying? But
I think even surviving the metro station is
yeah,
good.
the metro. Yeah, no,
My
absolutely.
my latest is, can I survive the commuter bus going on?
Yeah,
I
no,
spent almost
absolutely.
as much time on the commuter bus as I did at
Ooh,
work.
mm.
Uh,
It is crazy, and another thing that's happened is getting closer to my grandkids. Having that
yeah,
time when we talked about what are you doing now. I'm actually making
you're more
a
present
stronger
and
bond.
engaged with them. Yeah,
Yes, I am. I can be there for a lot of their stuff and support them and watch them grow like like people garden.
yeah.
You know, so all those things that are happening has been keeping me moving forward to be a better human being, be a better friend, be a better, person for God, and faith and so on. So that's very important. And I'm still taking baby steps, and I'm
And
trying.
I think that's all you can do. Even getting on the Camino sometimes.
Yes.
You did that downhill. Woo, you did a doozy of a downhill,
Yeah.
and you're gonna find that little calm for peace and just kind of getting settled, and then you're gonna find another uphill to go to, and
Mhm. Mhm.
you're gonna get through it. But
Yeah.
that's life, right? The
Yeah.
life is up and down.
Mhm.
Because God forbid, I don't think we want the merry-go-round.
Oh, but no, we don't. We
Think
don't.
about it. We don't want the life of a
No,
merry-go-round. So
no, we
look,
don't.
look, MJ. She's
Oh,
good evening, Eva. Saturdays. Woo, Jose,
yeah.
you're so motivational. Just love your energy.
Thank you, MJ.
Yay.
Thank you, MJ. I'm looking forward to coming back. Thank you. Thank you. And
And
ah, mm.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, I'll let you regale.
No, I was just gonna say, I was just on with Red while ago.
Right,
He
right,
said
right.
hello to both of us,
Yeah.
and Into the Weeds.
Yes.
Good to see you together. So, I was on Amber's show a couple of weeks ago. Was it last week? That was fun. I did 3 shows in one
Oh my
day.
goodness. Oh my
That
goodness.
was wild. But we did the part of the Gypsy Rose story,
Mm,
and looking at evidence and stuff like that. So
yeah.
that was kind of cool and nerdy.
Oh my goodness. And it just hit me as I sit here that I'm glad that I'm part of this community.
We
Because
have a great MBR team,
it
don't
is.
we?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what, you don't know what you need until you need it, until it's there, and this is something that I know I needed, and I'm glad that I'm here. And I just, I just want to learn from what just happened to me. I need to learn and help somebody else, pay it forward,
Oh,
'cause
for sure.
that's
Well,
something that,
that's part of you finding a new purpose, right?
yeah,
You're going to flip this,
yeah,
and you're changing what has been a trial
mhm,
into this, your pain into a new
yeah,
purpose. And that was one of the reasons why I knew I needed to have you on the show,
mhm,
because other people need to know that
you know,
they are not alone in
yes,
going through this stuff. But there are resources out there to help
absolutely,
you get through it. You haven't done it by yourself. You
that's right.
have a lot of good friends, former, soldiers that work
Mhm.
for you, and just even us have been, out here helping. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, MJ says we love you,
I
Jose.
love you too.
We
I love
love
you too. Oh
you,
my,
Jose.
yeah, because you can't heal in hiding. You
Oh, for
cannot.
sure. Oh, for
Cannot
sure.
heal in hiding. And you know,
We're
I've
we're
reached.
giving you some fertilizer and help you.
Yes,
You
yes,
can
I'm ready
grow
to.
strong.
Woo! You like that? Baby? Ready to grow. What would that be? A rose? I don't know. Wildflower? It'd be
I don't know. I just had that song. I am a teapot short,
oh my
whatever that
goodness,
song.
that's right. Yeah.
Short is out. Here's my handle. Here's my spout. Oh my
Oh my
God,
goodness.
that's too long ago.
No,
See,
oh my
folks,
goodness.
we're in trouble hanging out together. This is what we do. They're so
That's
silly.
it's awesome, but it's beautiful, man. That's what it is. I'm like, and oh my God. But
We
no, this
always laugh.
yeah, when you think that you figured out life and then it throws you a curve, life, you're like, wow, like I told you earlier, I didn't think where I'm at right now. It's like, okay, but sometimes, you get humbled, in certain
Yeah.
cases, and as we say, God has other plans for you. People say, well, he's got something for you. But when I was in the deeps of that, I was like, no, I ain't got nothing for me. I got 5 cents. That's all I got. I got nothing for you. But I believe and if anybody out there is going through something like this, you know, you're not alone. You just got to keep
Right.
showing up for yourself. Because there were times where I just wanted to quit, and I don't mind sharing it. When I was on active duty, I thought about taking my life, before I was diagnosed, and then whatever stopped me from doing it. And it is like one of the most scariest feelings in the world, when you think about it like that. But I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here because I have people that love me. I need people that I need to support, and I'm glad that I'm
And
here.
people are supporting you,
Oh no. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You're receiving. You're learning to receive and
Mhm.
giving yourself that grace. I mean, I've been posting about grace, and I've had several people, say, but that's hard. And I'm like, okay, charity starts at home.
Yeah.
It's not just about giving charity as a dollar figure to the church, but charity starts here.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
you've got to fill in your, this is tea, but
Yeah.
figuratively,
Right.
you've got to be able to get it filled up, because if it's not filled up for you, you don't
Mm.
have anything else to give somebody else.
Right. Right.
But if you've got people who are helping pour into you and helping fill this back up, that's the whole point of the People Garden, is
Right.
know who is going to be available and for us to help make sure that all of our cups are full,
Hmm.
not half full, because half full is half empty.
Hmm.
If you've only got half a cup for you, you don't have anything overflowing
Right.
to give
Right.
to somebody else.
Right. That is so true, because even even when I was going through this, if I go to Walmart or something and I see another veteran, and I would still stop and talk to him, it's almost like, okay, let me put what I'm going through on the side, and then that military comes out of you, or that humanity is like, okay, you
Yeah.
know, I'm going through this in my head, I'm dealing with it, but this person doesn't even have a pair of shoes, or he can't even pay for his meal. So then I got to say, you know what? I'm just blessed to be here. Let me keep working through it because I know eventually I will get better. And, and that's the best I can do, but we're here. I'm
It's
here.
resilience one step at a time.
Yeah. And I love everyone here, everybody that's here because you've given me love. You've supported me. MBR has given me the time to take care of myself, which I love. And I'm coming back roaring like a lion. Meow. You know what I'm saying? But, it's.
You do a better line than that.
I know. I'm saving it. But no. But yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to commercial for the Veterans Day cruise. We got to get on to this, right? We got to get on to this. And
I gotta see
Red
it.
said to make sure that we share the news that there's some Sandals Resort stuff that he's going to send me commercial on, that you can put you can get some special pricing, $98 to start your deposit. So they let you kind of do a layaway for your deposit to do a Sandals Resort trip. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and move into the Veterans Day cruise.
Wow.
Join Military Broadcast Radio and Fairway Travel for the 2025 Veterans Day Cruise aboard Carnival Vista. We will embark on a 6-day Eastern Caribbean cruise November 9th through 15th from Port Canaveral. Are you ready to relax, explore, celebrate? This is a voyage you don't want to miss. Destinations include Amber Cove, Half Moon Cay, and the all-new Celebration Key. Delight in the Dominican Republic's Amber Cove with stunning beaches and island vibes. Enjoy Half Moon Cay, known as a private Bahamian paradise. And finally, a day at Celebration Key, Carnival Cruise Line's exclusive new getaway. Honor the heroes in your life with an unforgettable cruise experience this Veterans Day at sea. Fairway Travel will handle all the planning so you can focus on making memories. Call Fairway today, 228-365-3480, or email fonda@fairwaytravel.com or red@mbradio.us.
Wow.
All right, I'm putting my email out here too, eva@mbradio.us. And that's if you want to go on that cruise, because I know that Red's going on the trip this week. So he's headed to, I think they're leaving out of New Orleans or something like that. So feel free to reach out to me, and we'll get you hooked up. But do you line dance too, Jose?
Yes, I did. I know.
Can you do the wobble? Can you do the wobble with me?
Oh yeah, and I know. Yeah, girl. They're gonna do that on that cruise.
And the slide, of course. We got to do all that stuff on the deck.
Look, I know how to do salsa, merengue, tomatoes, lettuce. How you doing? Yeah, I can do it all, girl. Look, I would say I remember when I got
the electric slide.
Wobble.
I remember in the office one time, when we did some line dancing.
Yeah.
It was it's a good pick me up. But it was somebody, I forget where I was at, but they were like, okay, now we know who goes on the cruises.
Yes.
All of us that were out there, well, a lot of us women, probably just a few guys, but most of us all women. We were the ones out there that we're not ashamed to get up there and do the wobble and the dancing.
Oh no, I'll get out there too. Don't worry, I'll be up there with you, girl. It's all good.
Okay.
It's okay.
I'm just gonna put in a request. Can I have a smaller shirt? This is huge on me. It's like a big potato sack.
Oh my goodness!
It's a large. It would fit you, Jose. I need a medium or a small.
Medium or small. Okay, I'll talk to the man upstairs to see what we can do.
Okay.
It's all good. It's just doing this right here has helped me so much, a lot, and I've learned a lot through this about myself. It's almost like every time you go through something like that, it's like an onion, a new layer is peeled back. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, got you, and I'm realizing that that there's a lot of stuff that what it's forcing me to do is just, pause for the cause, take a break, and let me step back and get to love myself again and be who I need to be rather than jumping into something, whatever So that's what I'm learning from this. Slow is
But
good.
that's good. And that's why I knew it was important for you to get back to your workouts, because even working out, you get to get a lot of that tension out, right?
Yeah. Yes.
It was not just a physical thing. I mean, I
Right.
never even saw from your videos and the way you posted,
Mhm.
I didn't ever see that it was not just a physical thing.
Right.
I could tell from my observation that your working out was just as much of a mental and emotional
Yes.
and a spiritual thing as well, even in a weird way, because you were in the moment doing
Mhm.
that, and all of the other junk didn't matter. Like when I'm on
Right.
the Camino, I'm on the
Yes.
trail, none of the other all that noise that, even
Mhm.
Red and I were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
all of that other noise disappears because you're
Yeah.
in that moment.
Yes. And Eve, can you talk about, for anybody that's new, what that you did at Camino Santiago and what it is? Because until
Oh,
I met you,
yeah.
I did not know what it is. Because I'm gonna do it. But please explain to the.
So the Camino de Santiago is a hike that starts in Saint Jean Pont Pierre. I think that's how I say it. SJPP for short. It starts in France, but there are many Camino roads. We've had that map up before
Mhm.
as one of your guests.
Yeah.
I had Anne and why am I brain cramping all of a sudden?
The best.
Anyway, yeah. So there were three of us veterans on your show, and we talked about going on the trip last summer. But all roads lead to Santiago. So this was a trail that this particular version on the Camino Frances is the way of Saint James. So you have to remember the people in biblical times, their goal was to get to Santiago. There's this big huge church there, the Santiago de Compostela, and they would make their way to Finisterre or Mushea, I think is how
Mhm.
you pronounce it,
Mhm.
Mushea, uh, because that was the end of the earth as they knew it. I always think that song, "It's the end of the world as we know it."
Yeah.
Anyways, so I always
Okay.
think the song when I'm thinking about Finisterre, because that was the furthest westmost piece of land
Mhm.
in the biblical times where they could. It's and after you go in the Camino, because it is such a physical and emotional and a spiritual journey, that and it's very cleansing. Some people aren't so much in the spiritual side. That's really a personal choice on how
Mhm.
much you want to bring God or whoever you worship in with it. But I and there's not Stations of the Cross. I actually looked that up to see if there were
Okay.
Stations of the Cross to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But there are so many crosses in the towns that you could certainly do stations. And the
Mhm.
point of that even is to meditate between in your journey. So in
Right.
some
Right.
ways you think about it,
Yeah.
I was helping one of my friends in because I'm Catholic, with the catechism classes for the kids
Mhm.
before they get confirmed. And she talked about doing Stations of the Cross, and there's a video on YouTube, there's probably other videos, but the whole meditate was just and then back up again,
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said she had a hard time really thinking about meditating in a Christian meditation.
Right. Right.
And I was like, "Oh, I totally get that because I actually learned how to do that
Mhm.
when I was on the Camino de Santiago."
Right.
Because when you are not paying attention to your phone, other than really like I took a bazillion, pictures on the Camino, um, you're not watching TV.
Right.
You're not in your worldly way of things. You are thinking about the three Maslow's needs that you have:
Yes.
food, clothing, shelter.
Mhm.
That's really all you're thinking about, and your thoughts. When you are on the Camino and you're hiking, and you're going to have some conversations with the people, but if you're walking by yourself, it's you, yourself, and it's me, myself, and I, and
Right.
God,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
You're having that. You have nobody else to have those conversations with but to talk to God.
Mm-hmm.
In
Wow.
my
Yeah.
opinion, that's how I looked at it. That's
Right.
and you know, in some ways, there's a lot of reconciliation that you can have, and a
Yeah.
lot of understanding, a lot of come to Jesus moments. Because think about it, and we just finished Easter,
Mhm.
and you know, Jesus carried the cross for us. How many of us actually let him carry that cross for us,
Right.
right? And wearing the crown and giving him the rocks. I mean, this is the same rock that I talked about last week, and you talked
Mhm.
about your rocks were bigger. Do me a favor. When you're out in your journey, probably walking your dogs,
Uh-huh.
God's going to tell you, pick up that rock. It's going to be up to you to obey him, but just listen to God when you have that conversation with him, and see how that journey goes. Because he's
Absolutely.
going to talk to you. You just got to let him. You've got to be willing to listen to him.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely correct. Yes.
You can either put the earbuds in
Mm-hmm.
and listen, or you can tune him out. But it's all, it's up to you.
Yeah.
But I'll be interested to hear how that journey goes.
Oh, I will be doing it. Now that is something I will be doing after, especially now that I know what I need to do. The only one of the things I've learned during this process for me is that pain changes you sometimes, but it doesn't have to destroy you.
Exactly.
It like right now.
Recognize it.
Yes, absolutely. With face support and good people and a little bit of humor. How you doing? I think it could get you a long way. I know that's what works for me. And it's been a long time since I've been able just to genuinely laugh. If you know what I mean. Sometimes you're in company, you're like, okay, but that's one thing I've learned is to find my authentic self and be happy and be able to help others who need it.
Right.
So that's and thank you, Eva, for having me here, and to
for
all
sure.
the MBR family and people watching. And tomorrow, what is tomorrow's date?
You got it. You got it.
Ah,
I know.
With you. How you doing, huh? You like that? Okay.
I know. I'm so glad. So we had that up before the show, and I was like, okay, tomorrow.
I said, oh yeah, may the fourth be with you. Yeah. No, but thank you, Eva. This journey has been I've learned so much. It's been a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, but I'm moving through it because of people like you and people that I've met and love and guidance and grace and God, so
You're going to be a regular on with me now, right? I have some guests
yes,
I've been lining up.
Si tú me necesitas, yo estoy aquí, If you need me, I'm here for you. I got you, girl.
You're so silly.
Yeah,
well,
so no, thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today. It's I'm super honored and that you were willing to come on with me. And I've just been sowing that seed with you that you were going to get back in the grind of things and find your motivated mindset, because people are counting on you. They're counting on us having our voices. And I'm just so thrilled that MBR Radio, is here for us to do that. And, I wish everybody a super blessed week. And I'll be doing the show from Texas next weekend. So, right. Yeah. I fly back Wednesday evening. I've got a busy schedule the next couple of weeks. So, but I'll be Mother's Day. Yes. I'll be at home with my kids for Mother's Day weekend. So.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and to you, Eva, of course.
All right.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great day.
I'll be the same. Choose goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.